right, guys, we are live here on the VM Underground Show, worldwide broadcasting in Southern California. I want to thank all you guys for tuning in. We're going to be out of here about less than almost 40 minutes. The show will be done. We went a little bit longer of our time, but it's great we didn't have anyone else booked. Don't forget to check out the VM Underground site at v-m-u.com. Of course, check out our featured artists for March and April 2010, which is the Love Crave. Go to the main site, click on the picture, it'll take you to their MySpace site. Big shouts to all the stations: WFLM, Triple Radio Rocks, Wicked Spins Radio, Invasion Radio, Pirate Rock Radio, Fly Radio, EDR, Night of the Fallen Angel Radio. Big shouts to our sponsors and affiliates: Twisted Hillbilly Magazine, Nocturne Magazine, Bill Disorder Logos, WantToBrag.com with the number 2, Diamond Cast Promotions, and the Rock Corporation. Thank you guys for supporting the VM Underground Show. We're here Sunday, Mondays, and Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern. We got a guest tomorrow as well, too. Atumas will be calling in tomorrow, but we only got a 2-hour show tomorrow. I want to thank everyone as well, too, and hope everyone had a safe Easter. We're going to be out of here real soon. I have the one and only, they want to say King or Emperor. Either one. the vampire.
Don!
Don, just call him Don.
Everyone keeps calling me this name.
Don Henrie.
Love it, though. Just
yeah,
keep
there
it
you
coming.
go.
All right, I'd like to express a couple thoughts.
Okay, go for it.
This relates, of course. We're going to break it down a little bit more into the physical sense.
Okay.
And this will be in the spirit of zeitgeist, I guess. The head is the temple of the body. There is an actual correlation between the word temple and the same word temple. Notice that the most sacred outermost housing of the seat of the soul is called the temple on your head. The softest region of the cranial matter, that which is the housing of the whole complex order of things that make your world go around, your own universe, the very place that you understand. I would also like to express a few thoughts involving a lost soul who needs to go to the light in her time of need. Disease is an all too common factor within the world we tend to be existing within together today and tomorrow. Most of this world cannot see the invisible realm that remains far past the view of the mortal eye of this era. The light is out there, searching for you in the fog. The world will still turn, and I shall lead whoever happens to be part of my flock to their own version of their ascension and progression through example of my own without compromise. And please, here you go.
Awesome, and Ray just loves your voice.
Scott, are you still there?
I'm here.
That was beautiful.
Might be a little confusing with Don's calling me by my familiar name versus Von Necron is the title.
There you go, Bon Necron. Everyone in the chat room was asking about that as well too.
Oh, I
It's
apologize.
the title. Essentially, it's like Father so-and-so, you know, in the Catholic Church they use that. Von Necron is a title meaning...
Yes, folks, Bon Necron is a real person.
Wow.
yeah,
He has a belly button. You wouldn't know with the name Bon Necron.
No, it's, I'm a regular person. Well, I'm not a regular person, but I'm a person. Yeah, it would be like Monsignor so-and-so or whatever. Von Necron means speaker of the word of the dead, but it's not just a word in the common sense. It's word as in the meaning of power or source of power. And so it's a title, essentially.
Beautiful, really beautiful. All right, guys, we got to move on and everything else and stuff like that. We got a couple more things to cover and everything, and we got to get going with the show and stuff like that. Don, let's talk about really, really quick when it comes to the whole, when it comes to people and everything else, and the positive and negative energy with people. Let's just say, like, if I walk into a room, one example, and stuff like that. Let's take it from there. Positive energy, negative energy. Your 2 thoughts on that.
Well, you ever had the time where someone, I guess you'd say, would be angry? Let's just say if it would be your girlfriend or something like that, or your mother, for instance, when you were just kind of playing games or something, and then all of a sudden you just kind of walk in the room and they have this screaming energy and you could hear it. It's just this loud shriek, and even your ears are just kind of clenching because they hear this loud shriek. You know, it's almost like the concussion right after you just got hit in the head or something. You know?
Wow.
And that's one of the, I guess you say, well, the energies is what you're speaking about right there, right?
Right, right.
We all broadcast psi energy constantly, and that psi energy radiates out from us. We also have other types of energy that are circulating through our ethereal bodies and our physical bodies, electromagnetic energy and other types of energy. But psi energy is broadcast constantly. And from that, you can, when you encounter another person, you can gain a lot of information from that. That's what psychics tend to do. As part of doing, empathic people, that's what they're doing. They're tapping into that energy which has an emotional component, and they can sense what the other person is feeling. Mm-hmm. It's constant, but at times it's stronger than others, and that's why, too, when you get into the concept of psychometry, for example, people sometimes project, during times of stress in particular, they might project very strongly this psi energy, and it can imprint an area. And that's when you call a passive haunt or a residual haunt, that's what that is. If somebody, for example, committed suicide in a place, mm-hmm. and they're very distraught, and they're broadcasting psi energy, which is imprinting the area around them, mm-hmm. and then they kill themselves, that can leave a very strong residue, a very strong, sort of like creating a
negative that keeps playing over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you enter into it, it's like a needle going through a phonograph. You're going to once you energize that, it's going to replay. Mm-hmm. Because you've got an activating component, and then you've got that recorded component. Mm-hmm. And yes, that's why you get this sort of mm-hmm. Video loop of the same event happening over and over. It's not happening, mm-hmm. and there's not even necessarily a consciousness that's still there. It's just it's a very strong psychic imprint that is being activated.
Really quick, going back really quick, not to beat the dead horse again and everything, but you're talking about energy and everything else and stuff. I mean, I talk to some ghost hunters, and they talk about their types of energy or spirits or whatever, that sort of thing. Do you know it's energy, or do you know if it's somebody's spirit or somebody's soul and that sort of thing? And when going back, I wanted to talk about the afterlife and everything, but briefly, I mean, is there an afterlife, or is it just energy, Don?
There is an afterlife for those who believe that there is an afterlife. Mm-hmm. If your path is set to a certain way to where you're going to accept that there's an afterlife at the time that you cease within this vessel, then it's very likely that you will go on to your afterlife. It's the best way I can put it. Those who may not believe may literally become lost in the system. It's either that, or we just don't happen to have, well, I guess you'd say the mass majority doesn't have the knowledge of what actually goes on in the beyond, Afterlife, though, is kind of interesting kind of concept to think about, especially, if one's educated about other things that are, within the universe, such as black holes. What's going to happen if someone actually goes into the afterlife, for instance, right?
Right.
And then they're living on this Earth for about 2,000 years, but then what if one of those constellations or whatever that's traveling at over 250,000 miles an hour in a broader grand scale, which, well, religion in its ego would actually think it's actually the broader grand scale, when actually the higher power would be the black hole coming over to swallow the planet that actually has these souls that are, I guess you'd say, living on their afterlife. Unless they're living on their afterlife on another planet.
Wow, crazy. What's your take on that?